I think the education system doesn't celebrate failure enough, because failure is where we learn.
One of the things you talked about is learning in many ways by failure or by the fault. So will you tell us how that happens? Because a lot of the times today, especially in the entrepreneurial world, the minute you sort of hit failure, out of the window, bath water and the baby, and you move forward. But that's not quite how this works.
Well, it's interesting you said the entrepreneurial world, because this changes from culture to culture. So I think in England we're nervous about failure in the entrepreneurial world. But if you go to America, unless you've had 3 failed projects already,
and 4 bankruptcies at least,
you're not going to get funding. That seed funding won't be there. So I think it's especially true coming back to the education system, that I think the education system doesn't celebrate failure enough, because failure is where we learn. I love it, actually, when I'm doing my mathematical research, that moment when I suddenly hit something which doesn't make any sense at all. It's a contradiction. There's something wrong inside here. There's a bug. That's the moment where I know I'm going to learn something. And so failure is, I think, absolutely fundamental. That failure, you learn something by putting your hand on the hot plate and burning yourself. And for me, this is what has been encoded, and a real kind of phase change in code, because in code in the past, you wanted it to be perfect before you released it into the environment. Now it's totally different. You create a piece of code which has had some learning, but it's going to get better and better the more it's exposed to the digital universe out there.
If you've enjoyed the conversation that you just heard, do subscribe to our channel for much more.